Welcome to The Lift with Sheila Robinson Kiss. Come on in. There's always a special place set aside for you here where you can relax, kick up your heels, pour yourself a nice, refreshing drink, and prepare to be lifted and soar. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome back to The Lift. Today I want to talk to you about something that is so simple, yet people just don't do enough of it. And that is simply opening your mouth, asking and unleashing your blessings. I want to share a simple story with you, and then I'm going to talk about some strategies that you can use immediately to begin to position yourself to do more asking and therefore do more receiving of those blessings. So my story is this. There was a young girl in Bolivia, beautiful lady. She spent half a lifetime living in a village. She was there from the time she was born till about 45, and she spent many of her days caring for elders, foraging for food, doing chores and duties as assigned. And one day she kind of looked around and she saw her cousin packing. She was getting ready to go somewhere, and she scratched her head and she continued to observe her at a distance, and a feeling of envy and resentment grew in her because she always wanted to leave the village. She begrudgingly stayed to do her duties and never opened her mouth. So her cousin packed up and she watched her get on this boat and leave. And she turned to one of the elders and said, "Can you tell me where my cousin is going?" And the elder kind of looked and gently said to her, "Well, dear, she's going to meet her future." And the woman said, "Well, what do you mean she's going to meet her future? I always wanted to do that. What about me? Why didn't I get a turn?" And again, her elder smiled softly and said, "My dear, you could have done the same thing, but you never asked." The moral of the story is simple. Ask, and you will receive. There are so many reasons that we don't ask. What are some areas in your life where you know you need to start asking for more or less of something? Is it in your love relationship? Is it in your friendship, your partnership? Maybe it's in a working relationship. Some of us even need to start asking for more in the spiritual realm. You need to start asking for more from God and your angels. They want to hear from you too. And oftentimes we don't ask out of a spirit of timidity. If this sounds like you, you're not alone. At one point in my life, I had that same spirit of timidity. It had me locked in. I was missing opportunities. I would stand in the backdrop when I knew I had things to say and ideas to share, and it cost me dearly. I don't want that to happen to you. So if you do have this spirit of timidity that I'm speaking of, a lot of people tell you need to do 50 somersaults, take this class, do whatever. All of that advice, okay, it's fine. It may work for you, but I'm going to offer, start praying about it. Just start praying that please lift this spirit of timidity off of me. Let me come into my pure light and my pure voice in this lifetime sooner than later. So I want to share with you a few strategies, real world strategies that you can use to position yourself starting today to ask for more and to receive more. First point I want to share is that people who have gained mastery in this area of self-advocacy, and that's really what asking is all about, they have trained themselves to anticipate and deal with the no's and the rejections of life. So, in other words, you need to begin to brace yourself for the opposition and some obstacles and the occasional no or rejection. Because if you're braced for the turbulence, it's just like if you're in an airplane. If you're wearing your seatbelt and you're prepared, you're going to be able to ride it out a lot more smoothly. So don't lie to yourself and pretend it's never going to happen. You will receive opposition, there will be rejection, there will be no's. Anytime that you are in a growth or expansion mode, you can anticipate some pushback. I knew a lady who was aspiring to be a professional comedian, and 28 times in a row, she asked the event planner of a particular establishment, "Will you please allow me to be the headline act? Please, please, please." She kept asking, and he said no. People asked her flat out, "Why do you keep going back?" Her answer was simple: "Because every time I open my mouth, I'm learning, I'm growing, it gets easier to ask, and he cannot say no forever." This woman is a successful headline act. Her name is in lights routinely for one reason and one reason only: she trained herself to make the ask. Number 2, understand that Rome was not built in a day. I want you to think about something that you're very good at. Some of you are fabulous business women. Some of you are wonderful with your children, fantastic at sports, whatever the case may be. Now, did you come out of your mother's womb proficient in this area? If you did, I want you to turn the video off. You need to make a quick phone call because you're an anomaly. I'm sure there's a paycheck or television show somewhere for you. But most of us, that's not the case. We started doing something and we did it over and over again. And one day you looked up and said, "Wait a minute, hold on. No one can touch me in this area. I'm that good." So it's the same way with asking and finding your comfort with your voice to do so. Start. You can start small. If you're at home and you've been reluctant to ask your children to step up and do more chores, and that's age appropriate for them, start there. Some of you certainly deserve more money for what you're doing, but you've been hesitant to ask. I want you to start practicing within yourself, and sooner or later I want you to go in there and ask for more money, ask for what you're worth. So there's a lot of different ways to start, but my point is you have to start somewhere. And thirdly, I want you to understand this very well, that the more you ask with confidence and clarity, the more you will train people to present you with fabulous opportunities and blessings. What do I mean by that? When you learn to ask in confidence, I'm not talking about cockiness, but when you learn to ask in confidence and clarity, you send out a very firm signal to the world, to your friends, to your family, to your colleagues, to your co-workers. I am not afraid to ask. I am not afraid to receive the bounty and the overflow. And when I receive it, I celebrate that and I know exactly what to do with it. Now hear me and hear me well. Self-esteem and confidence that comes through making the ask is a magnet for magnificent things to happen in your life. It falls directly in line with the laws of attraction. The energy you put out can't help but to come back to you again and again and again. So I have an assignment for you, and every week with the lift there will be an assignment, and I will be checking to verify that you completed your assignment. So I'd like you this week to choose 3 areas of your life, or you can choose 1 area, but you're going to be asking 3 questions. You're going to make the ask. It could be that you want more of something, less of something. It could be at work. It could be with a friend. It could be with a partner. However you want to position this. But my challenge for you is to make that ask. I'm going to be interested to see how you do with this assignment. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Lift, and I'll see you next time.